Hello everyone, I am back with the second part of the series and the first essay by Montaigne, and it is that men by various ways arrive at the same end. So imagine this, right? Your worst enemy, who absolutely hates you, is about to kill you. And what do you do now? Do you beg for mercy? Do you beg for your life? Or do you, you know, die with your head held high and you do not beg for your life? Montaigne has shown that both of these things can actually work on your enemy and can actually stop his fury. So, for example, we'll start with the first paragraph of the essay, which is the most usual way of appeasing the indignation of such as we have any way offended. When we see them in possession of the power of revenge, and find that we absolutely lie at their mercy is by submission to move them to commiseration and pity. And yet, bravery, constancy, and resolution, however quite contrary means, have sometimes served to produce the same effect. So, it is not only by supplication, by surrendering oneself and begging for mercy, that you can actually stop an enemy's fury, but it is also historically, by various incidences, it has been reflected that if you keep your head held high, if you're brave and you do not surrender or beg for mercy, the enemy can actually respect you and can, as a result, even forgive you, right? He has shown that and demonstrated that in various incidences throughout the history. For example, we have one of the incidences where Scanberg, Prince of Epirus, was pursuing one of his soldiers. Right? His soldiers, in order to kill him, his soldier had begged him, right? He had pleaded him, tried to appease him, but it did not work. And so the only option that he had left was when he was pursuing him, the soldier turned around and he had his sword up front and was ready to fight till his death. So that reaction actually made the prince respect him, and as a result, the prince forgave him. There are several incidences that Montaigne has cited throughout. However, however, there are incidences where keeping your head held high, not begging for mercy, valor, having bravery has actually backfired. It has actually led to some historical figures reacting even worse than if you would have begged for mercy. And Montaigne, as a result, emphasizes that man is an unstable subject, right? It doesn't matter if you beg your enemy for mercy or if you stay obstinate and do not beg for mercy and stay brave, you know, um, on the upon the assault of your enemy. It doesn't matter because you do not know how he is going to react. For example, there is an incident, although it is quite disputed, um, the authenticity of which is quite disputed, has been cited by Montaigne, where Alexander the Great, who has often been, cited as being merciful to his enemies, in this instant he was not merciful at all. He, in fact, was provoked to anger even more upon seeing the valor of one man, so much so that he uh, actually uh, dished out even worse, one of the worst punishments ever. In fact, one of his lines were actually astoundingly cruel, which is, "Thou shalt not die better as thou dost intend. Be sure thou shalt suffer all the torments that can be inflicted on a captive." What? To which menace the threat, the other returning no other answer, but only a fierce and disdainful look. What? Says Alexander, observing his haughty and obstinate silence. Is he too stiff to bend a knee? Is he too proud to utter one suppliant word? Truly, I will conquer this silence. And if I cannot force a word from his mouth, I will at least extract a groan from his heart. And thereupon, converting his anger into fury, presently commanded his heels to be bored through, causing him alive to be dragged, mangled, and dismembered at a guard's tail. So it doesn't matter what your response is going to be to your enemy. You can try to stir up some emotions of compassion from them, or you can stay as you are, stay resolute, obstinate, and brave. That can even provoke the other person to even more of a resentment towards you. Because a man is an unpredictable person. Man is such an unstable subject that certainty or any general truths, they're just not going to um, be applicable to man. What do you think works for one does not, then will not always work for the other. So that is, I think, what Montaigne meant in his essay. And I think that is true in reality as well. We have someone who hates us, we try to be nice to them, that doesn't work. We try to be sometimes non nice to them, that doesn't work. It doesn't matter what works on them because we do not know. Man is the most unpredictable person. He's so unpredictable. So we do not know what feelings are going to stir up from what kind of actions that we take. Right? If someone resents me and I think that, you know, he's about to hurt me, and I think that by begging for him, by begging him, he's going to, listen to me. In fact, in history, that has not happened at all. Many times, the cries of women and the cries of children, they have not worked on soldiers or men in combat. So, in fact, I think that Montaigne says that me, I am of a disposition where if someone comes to me begging and he asks me, he stirs up compassion in me, I will forgive him because that's the sort of man I am. But I know, I understand that is not the sort of man that everyone is. So that is the reality of being man. So if you're dealing with someone and you discover that they are unstable and you don't know, you don't understand their reactions, just remember this one line by Montaigne, which is that man is a vain, fickle, and unstable subject. And that is the truth. I would say that that applies to all men. So that was the first essay, and I will be bringing you the second essay soon. And hopefully, through these essays, we learn and grow.